Hello, it's Mr. Cerisa, and today we're going to go over the analysis of a hyperbola. So very similar to an ellipse, you have to go through the transverse, center, vertex, foci, and then graph it. So those are the main things. Let me write down an equation here, and this one for and a hyperbola, of course. And you can probably make out a lot of this stuff right away just by looking at the equation. The equation is just a set of instructions, and I'm going to try to do it in a more intuitive way than the book does it. The book gives you a lot of formulas to memorize, and I just think that's the wrong way to go. That's why I try not to look into the book too much or refer to the book too much. If you're just memorizing formulas, you're going to go wrong. But if you understand what it's talking about, then you can take any equation and be able to analyze it. So this one has an x plus 3 squared coming first, so that means the transverse axis will be the x-axis. And it also tells you what the center is going to be, just looking at that, so you know the center will be at -3, 2. So good place to start. And then next we'll look at the vertex. And the vertex, you use A as a guide because that's how far the vertex is from the center. So in this case, A squared is 4, which means A will be 2. And then we're going to jump through and just say, okay, B is going to be 3. That's going to help our graphing later on. But if we know A is 2 and we're going along the x-axis, then we know the vertex will be -3 plus 2, and then -3 minus 2. Okay, because it's going along the x-axis, we know we add it to the x. So -3 plus 2, that's your A, and -3 minus 2, that's also your A. So you're adding it and subtracting it. And then let's figure out what C is going to be. So we know C squared is just A squared plus B squared. And so that's your 4 plus 9 is 13. So C will be radical 13. And so when I'm trying to figure out what the foci are, I just add and subtract radical 13 from our x because the transverse axis is the x-axis. So -3 plus radical 13, and then don't forget the 2 at the end. And then -3 minus radical 13. And of course the y coordinate is going to be 2. And so there's all the information that I'm looking for. Transverse axis, the center, the vertex, the foci. So let's graph this and see what we got. So we have our x-axis, our y-axis. Let's plot our center. We said is at -3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right. We know our A is 2, so that means we move 2 from 2 to the left and 2 to the right along the x-axis to find our vertices. So 2 over that way, 2 over that way. There's our vertex. And then if we want to do the radical 13, that's a little bit more than halfway between 9 and 16. So a little more than 3.5 for our foci. So I'm going to, I'm going to go about 3.5 in each direction in order to get those foci in there. So 1, 2, 3, and about a half, and then 1, 2, 3, and about a half. Alright, and then so we have all those points, and now we just need to make our box. And remember, our box is already, the vertex is on the box. So a lot of times if you just start with the vertex and again go in the other direction, B, you're going to be okay. So 1, 2, 3, B is 3. So I'm going to go up the 3, over to the other vertex down, 1, 2, 3, over, and then here we go. There's my box just as a guideline. And then from corner to corner, I'm making these asymptotes. And so if you have graph paper, it'll be a lot easier. For this, it's just hard to switch back and forth. And let's do a purple one this time. So we'll go along the asymptote, hit the vertex, and then come back on the asymptote. Same thing, go along the asymptote, hit the vertex, and then come back up. And then there we go. That is our hyperbola. Thank you. I hope that this helped.